No one expects to get excited by a row of chickens on a market stall these days. It's just an ordinary part of the meat scene. Maybe you had chicken for tea, but most people remember the days when only the well-off had chicken on Mondays. 10 or 15 years ago, nobody bought chicken casually. It was celebration meat, bought only for high days and holidays, or when a rich aunt made a royal visit. The reason lies in the price tickets. These 8-bob birds would have cost you nearly twice as much a decade ago. The reason, as everyone knows, lies in production line factory farming. And now agriculture is moving towards the ultimate and is actually taking over real factories. Like this old Yorkshire textile mill, transformed into a multi-storey farm, a farm without grass, a farm without natural light.
This is the ground floor. It's full of pigs, 200 of them, and they're all different sizes. Now, the ones in here, for example, are 5.5 months old, and in another fortnight's time, they're going to be bacon. There are two sorts of pigs in here, large white and landrace, but they're nice and warm, they're out of the weather, they're snug, and they're cosy. But as I said, this is just the ground floor. Come upstairs with me now. On the first floor, there are 5,000 chickens. And on the second floor, another 5,000 chickens. And up here on the third story, yet another 5,000 chickens. And here are the men who operate the farm. They're Arthur and Gerald Walker, the Walker brothers from Stainlands near Elland. Now, you've got 15,000 chickens altogether in this old textile mill. Aren't there rather a lot to put in one particular building?
No, the rate of stocking is the recommended rate, 0.75 square feet per bird. And as you see, they all look healthy and comfortable. Yes.
But could you get even more than the 5,000 per floor in?
Oh, yes. We could get down to 0.5 or 0.6 square feet per bird, but we prefer to play for safety and comfort of the birds and put them in at the stocking rate I've just told you.
More than any other farmyard inhabitant, the chicken has responded to the new science. In fact, these birds were practically hatched by a computer. Boffins worked on poultry genetics and came up with a new breed, cobs. Every 2 pounds of food that they eat converts into 1 pound of chicken meat, a magic figure to the trade, and they do it at a lightning rate. They're fed and watered automatically and kept at a constant temperature of 60 to 65 degrees. They want for nothing. There are no dangers.
How does your costing system work out? How does your profit system work out?
Well, we're in an odious position, really. Someone said to me earlier this week, you must be very proud at being able to produce chickens at the price you do. That you're producing chickens at less than they were 10 years ago. What other commodities are there in the country that can sport similar figures? Well, yes, we are proud of that fact, justifiably proud. But on the other hand, I'm not proud of the whole broiler industry, where it's going to. We produce these chickens at 1 5 farthing a pound, a 4.5 pound bird in 8.5 weeks. That approximates 6 and 6p per bird that we get for them.
Now, what are your costs?
The day old chicken costs 1 3p. Each chicken will take 10 pounds of food.
Which works out at how much?
4 2p. Then onto that you've got to add on your labour costs, your overheads. In fairness, we ought to add on at least 6p for those costs. we'd got to 1 and threepence, 4 and twopence food, and 6pence, well, I wait.
5 and 11.
Thank you. 5 and 11, the selling price, 6 and 6pence. So our margins are so narrow now that 3 farthings per pound makes the difference between profit and breaking even, or even making a loss. We feel that the industry is in the hands of the buyers of the chicken, the supermarket buyers, who seem to compete very keenly with each other to the detriment of the producer.
Now, how old are these chickens here?
These chickens are 8 weeks old.
And when are they going off to be packaged?
These are going off immediately. They're ready now.
From yellow balls of fluff to your kitchen table in just over 8 weeks. It's a remarkable achievement. The old breeds took anything up to twice as long before they were ready for eating. The only time these chickens see the light of day is when they're off to be killed and processed. Back in the factory, the lights have been kept dim all the time. It helps to keep them quiet. Chickens that run around a lot lose weight, and money for the grower too. And the one glimpse the chickens get of grass is along the route to the ultra-modern processing plant on the hills above Halifax.
Fresh chicken is something that we've concentrated on particularly, basically because we feel that we have, regardless of what anybody says, we have a future, and that we think that people are going to eat fresh food as long as ever it's available to them.
Jack Parker, owner of the processing plant.
This is a stunning cabinet, which is, I don't think it is actual law at this moment that they're to be put in to packing stations of this sort. But certainly in the next few months it will be law, but we were ahead on this particular factor of this anti-cruelty thing. Somebody has to kill chickens, and obviously we're one of the firms who are going to do this, but we do it as well as we possibly can. We don't believe in cruelty any more than the RSPCA or anyone else. We're very conscious of the product that's got to come out at the end, and any damage which is cruelty, which would be affected by cruelty, any damage which would be caused by cruelty, would ruin the carcass, would ruin the sale of it. We just couldn't market it. You know, it's interesting because most of the blood and the offal and things like that go away to a mink farmer who produces sort of these lovely pelts from our offal and blood, and the feathers, which I think is quite fascinating, is sent away. There are 2 sections, but one it is sent away to a factory where they reprocess it, and it's made into a feather meal, which is then added back to a ration, which is fed to poultry. It's not a very big plant, but it's a very modern one. it will process up to 3,500 birds an hour. And this is very important to us, obviously, because we've got to get this production through and chilled and out. Not frozen, chilled, just to keep the bird in prime condition, ready for going out to these barbecues and places like that, so that the condition of the bird is kept in, is perfect. We process approximately 15,000 a day, but being on fresh chicken, obviously we've got to market those in the 4 days, the first 4 days of the week, to get them to the market. But remember this, that every bird that comes in here at 7 o'clock in the morning is in the markets, or in the shops, or in the barbecues, or in the supermarkets, wherever it is, the following morning, ready for selling. Now this is fresh chicken.
And at the end of the line, the final sophistication, a device which weighs the chickens automatically.
We've specialized in this, and we are replacing what would be considered the old free-range bird. As you know, there are not many birds kept on free range now, and those that are only old hens, which I don't think that they're healthy. I don't see that anything that is feeding on cow dung and muddy water and what have you can possibly be. I mean, usually when you find these birds come in, they're invariably riddled with some disease or other. It's a myth, is this free-range thing. This chicken that we are producing here is a chicken for the 1970s, not the 1870s.
Meanwhile, back at the multi-storey farm, which has been cleaned out, power hosed down and disinfected, the whole process starts again from scratch.
Aren't they pretty little things? In this circle alone, there are going to be 1,250 of these little day-old chicks, and there are 4 circles all told on this floor of the mill. That makes a grand total of 5,000 chickens again per floor, and 15,000 altogether. They're kept in these brooders. That's a warm heater beating down on their backs, and this special fine-grained meal for them to eat. There you are, you get down again. And in just 10 days' time, these little chicks are going to be fit and strong enough to be able to leave the brooders and wander all over the whole of this floor. He doesn't want to go, do you? It's amazing, really, that this little soul who weighs 1.5 ounces will, in the 8 weeks that he's here at the farm, get through this amount of meal. There's 10 pounds of meal here. And he will, after 8 weeks, grow into a fine 4.5-pound bird, just like this one.